And when fire ripped through their home, they thought they were covered by insurance. After all, they had insurance, and it was ruled an accident. But investigative reporter Doug Smith found some people who say they were burned by Citizens Insurance because the state-run carrier does not have to follow the same rules as private companies.
The inside of Karina Wilson's home in Plant City is charred. She lost
everything. We kept only the clothes that we had on.
It was her fault. She was frying chicken on the stove and forgot about it. She contacted her insurance company, the state's largest, Citizens.
Clearly, they knew that this was an accident.
That's what he told me that day. That's what he told me, and the report, it is an accident.
And that's what investigators with Hillsborough County Fire concluded in this final report. Based on fire scene examination, physical evidence discovered, and supporting conditions, this fire has been classified as an accidental fire. Case closed. That was 8 months ago. How much did Citizens give her?
Not a dime. I don't think it's fair after all this, after my payments are made, that I have to beg them to pay attention to my case.
Fire lit up the night 3 months ago, torching Maria Torres' home in Miami-Dade County. Like Karina Wilson, her home is unlivable. She turned to Citizens for help and says the company turned its back on her.
40 days in the street, in my car.
But she says police gave her a ticket for sleeping in her car, so she took up residence on the porch of her burned-out home. Her fire was also ruled an accident, which investigators say was started by this computer. But she hasn't gotten a dime either.
All she can do is hurry up and wait.
Eric Diener used to work for Citizens and says he's not surprised. Now he's her lawyer.
And she needs the benefits that she paid for, and she needs them quick.
2 stories of people who say they've been burned by Citizens.
And that's the insurance that I thought that it was the best insurance ever, because that's the government insurance.
Citizens is an insurance company, a very big one, the biggest. So you need to let them act like it, and you need to hold their feet to the fire, just like we hold everyone else's feet to the fire, in fact, more so.
Sean Shaw used to be Florida's insurance consumer advocate until last year. The agency is the state's insurance watchdog group, looking out for the people. And he got a lot of calls about Citizens.
They were the worst because they got the most complaints, and it took the longest time for them to deal with those complaints.
Shaw now works as a lawyer in Tampa, and his law firm represents Karina Wilson.
There's a perception that she'd be better off with a state-run company because they would be responsible. We think our government's responsible.
Well, that's the people's insurance company. That's the insurance company that you and I, our taxpayer dollars, go to. But you'd be exactly wrong if you took that stance.
Maybe that's because Citizens doesn't have to follow the same rules as private insurance companies.
What I think it is they're not subject to bad faith. And what bad faith is, that's the hammer that hangs over insurance companies that say you've got to do certain things under the statute. You've got to respond to my phone call within a certain amount of time. You've got to be communicating with me about my claim. You've got to keep me in the loop about it. And Citizens is not subject to that statute.
This past session, lawmakers passed a bill overhauling property insurance. Shaw says one change has made it a lot worse for people with Citizens, a cap on fees paid to public adjusters.
Public adjuster is someone who will help you file your insurance claim, and they will charge you a contingency. So they'll charge you a percentage of what they can get you. By definition, why do you have to hire a public adjuster? Because you think the insurance company isn't treating you right.
Under the new law, public adjusters get much less if they go after Citizens and therefore have less incentive.
If you have Citizens, they can only charge 10%. If you have anyone else, they can charge 20%. So again, the state-run insurance company that's not subject to bad faith, you can only charge half of what you could charge for the private market. So they're really coddling and protecting the state-run insurance company. And this is really this is an academic discussion until you've got a claim, until you're the one whose tree falls on your roof.
And to make matters worse, that's exactly what happened to Karina Wilson. After the fire, a tree fell on her roof.
We had a great house. It was a beautiful house.
She knows her home is gone forever, so now she doesn't need insurance. But she couldn't get it anyway, at least not from Citizens. Her policy was just canceled.
And they're making it so people that have Citizens are really the underdogs. And it's done under the guise of, well, you know, it's taxpayer money that Citizens is funded by, so we just want to protect citizens. Well, listen, you're either an insurance company or you're not.
Citizens Insurance has almost 1.5 million policyholders throughout the state of Florida, John.
What a shocking situation here for these policyholders who were expecting Citizens to take care of their issues like we've been told over the years. So what does Citizens say here?
Well, big surprise here. Citizens was difficult to get a hold of. We tried last week. We made several phone calls followed by emails. Finally, late this afternoon, Citizens basically said, look, we are a governmental entity. We have sovereign immunity, and there's a reason for that. And their statement reads in part, if Citizens were subject to bad faith liability and was forced to litigate and resolve such cases, all that would do is diminish the claims paying capability and potentially increase the assessment for all of the people in the state of Florida if a hurricane were hit. In other words, we got it this way for a reason, and if it's not this way, we could all pay, which is a nice, convenient excuse.
The situation here, though, is that some people have no choice whatsoever, right?
That's exactly it, John. I mean, a lot of people that are on the water do have no choice. Citizens was designed as the insurance company of last resort, and in fact, some people don't have a choice whether they're going to take insurance or some private company, so they're stuck with Citizens. And then to be immune from the bad faith and to be ignored when they have a claim is very difficult. In the case of Karina Wilson, she chose Citizens Insurance because she thought it was going to be better than a private carrier.
And she's been paying a lot of money for that policy.
She paid on that policy faithfully for 4 years, and when she needed Citizens, she said she was burned, and burned badly.
All right, Citizens Insurance, government agency. Doug, thank you.
Okay.